We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Arthur Chokoto, and Savita Wirima, our sign language interpreter. Our top stories. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady, Madam Gertrude Mutharika, join all Malawians in conveying warmest wishes to Muslims across the nation on the auspicious occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Leader of the House describes this week's parliamentary deliberations as substantive and impactful to the country's development. And in our special report this week, we look into the use of artificial intelligence, AI, in medical services in hospitals across the country. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady, Madam Professor Gertrude Mutharika, join all Malawians in conveying warmest wishes to Muslims across the nation on the auspicious occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Through a statement, the first couple has expressed wish that the lessons of discipline and empathy should continue guiding Muslims as they conclude their holy month of Ramadan, a period of profound sacrifice, prayer, and self-reflection. The first couple has also expressed wish that the prayers of this holy month be a reminder of shared commitment to peace, love, and the spirit of togetherness that defines our great nation. The first couple has also expressed wish that Allah graciously accept the Muslims' fasts and prayers and bestow His abundant blessings upon them, their families, and the country. Dr. Jane Ansar Foundation has donated food items to Al-Asala Mosque in Bangwe Township in Blantyre, as Muslims in the country will tomorrow celebrate Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Speaking to MBC after presenting the donation, Executive Director of the Foundation, Yusuf Ntenda, said the core mandate of the organization is to work with the underprivileged communities such as the elderly, orphans, and persons with disabilities. In his response, Sheikh Abdul Rashid Kananji commended the Jane Ansar Foundation for the donation, saying food is a key component of Eid al-Fitr celebration. The donation is worth over 2 million kwacha and did include maize flour, soya pieces, sugar, cooking oil, and salt.
As Jane Ansar Foundation, our mandate is to work together with the most vulnerable members of the society. We are talking about the elderly, we are talking about those living with different disabilities, and also those who were born with albinism. So these are the people that we work with. And today being a day before Eid, we thought that we can come here and meet and also assist the elderly who are Muslims, those who are disabled, and also people living with albinism, so that they can celebrate together with the rest of the Muslims as they celebrate Eid tomorrow. So we are here just to give them the little that we have. It's not that we have much, but the little that we have, it may help them.
We are very happy to receive this donation from Jane Ansar. Now we are here to celebrate Eid.
In the spirit of celebrating with the Muslim community, Zachitika Mutharika, son to His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, has donated food packs to over 300 Muslim families in Balaka. The donation packs included 20-kilogram bags of maize flour, rice, beans, and sugar, among other essential items. Simon Chumba reports.
Speaking during the handover ceremony, Zachitika said he was compelled to make the donation to the Muslim community at a time they are about to celebrate Eid on Saturday. Zachitika has since appealed to the Muslim community to work hard in their various businesses as one way of contributing to the country's development.
I had to look at the season we're in. We're in the season of Ramadan. So I thought it wise to come and assist the Muslims who are in this season as they are preparing for the Eid, which is tomorrow. But also to take note, it's been a family tradition whereby His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika each Ramadan he always helps Muslims with food items. So that's why this time, with his busy schedule, I thought it wise, with his permission, to come here in Liwonde and help fellow Muslims during this month with assorted food items. So basically it is just helping out and reaching out where we can. My message is to the Muslims during this time is they should be steadfast in their faith, they should be hardworking in all areas of their work, so that it should be able to help in the development of the nation.
Muslim Association of Malawi chairperson for Mangochi chapter, Sheikh Fahad Kamsuli, and Deputy Presidential Advisor on Religious Affairs, Sheikh Ishmael African Tigo, said it is encouraging to see that the Mutharika family is continuing with its efforts of helping the less privileged. Simon Shumba, NBC News, Balaga.
Minister of Homeland Security Peter Mukito says government is reviewing laws that will help enhance the protection of victims of irregular migration and to impose tougher measures against those using uncharted routes in Malawi. Mukito made the remarks in Lilongwe during the launch of the Better Migration Management Program implemented by the International Organization of Migration, IOM. Details in this report by Chinsinsi Moyo.
The Better Migration Management Project aims to improve migration systems and tackle human trafficking and migrant smuggling within Malawi and across the African region. Minister of Homeland Security Peter Mukito says the project will support government efforts in addressing migration challenges and strengthening border controls.
We are trying to protect the victims of human migration, but at the same time to make our country very stiff and very difficult for those that deal in human trafficking to pass through.
Program Officer for Immigration and Border Governance at the International Organization for Migration, IOM, Jeremiah Joshua, says the organization is working closely with the government to respond to key migration issues.
This project is tied primarily looking at ensuring that the movement of people is safe, is orderly and regular. We aim to promote migration because it comes with a lot of benefit, but it should be done in a proper way so that governments who stand along the route, maybe as a transit country or eventual destination country, benefit.
In his remarks, the European Union Ambassador to Malawi, Daniel Aristi, emphasized that the movement of people remains a critical issue across the region and requires coordinated action.
We see Malawi now integrating two very important platforms, two very important projects that address the problem of migration, of human trafficking, of smuggling of human beings.
The two-year project is also being implemented in other African countries with funding from the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development and is coordinated by GIZ. Chinsisi Moyo, NBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Information and Communications Technology Shadrack Namalomba has called upon internet service providers, ISPs, to consolidate Malawi's data requirements when buying materials from other countries to reduce the cost of internet. Namalomba said this in Blantyre when inspecting one of the country's providers of internet, optic fiber communications, OFC, to appreciate some of the strides made by the company. Details with Evelyn Chingambe.
Namalomba said government is already engaging the players to utilize optic fiber communications as they can make bulk purchases as one entity, which will in turn reduce production costs for the companies and make data affordable for Malawians.
If you are missing out on larger scale, economies of scale, what it means is that the data now becomes expensive and you pass on that cost to the people. So we have agreed that we need to look at that with the aim that we can consolidate, package, back up all our requirements for data, and then as a nation, we will go to Tanzania, we will go to Zambia, we will go to Mozambique and present as a nation our requirements. Immediately, we want to make sure that the data costs still continue to go down. And for the benefit of everyone, today in this, and as we go forward, it's all about connectivity.
Government is on a drive to ensuring that 80% of people are connected to the internet by 2030. Director of OFC, Stella Senti, said they are ready to help connect Malawians, even those from rural areas, to the internet, as every house that is connected to Eskom's electricity can as well access internet through the company.
We actually are targeting the rural masses, and that's why we are penetrating in the remote areas. We understand that the Agenda 2063 is more about digital economy, and therefore that digital economy has to speak to every Malawian. We can now see that every Malawian is actually capable of transacting on their phones, transacting everywhere they are, and we are therefore there actually to make sure that the government's agenda is met even in the remote areas.
OFC is a subsidiary of Eskom and possesses 7,000 kilometers of fiber covering Malawi from Chitipa to Nsanje. Evelis Chingambe, NBC News, Blantyre.
Leader of the House, who is also Minister of Transport and Public Works, Japi Muhango, has described this week's parliamentary deliberations as substantive and impactful to the country's development. Muhango made the remarks in Parliament in Lilongwe, following the adjournment of the House to next week Tuesday afternoon. Lonjezo Msodoka with the details.
The House resumed its deliberations on Monday, 16 March 2026, in the afternoon after a 2-week suspension, with members focusing on debate over the proposed 2026-2027 national budget. Throughout the week, members of Parliament contributed to the budget debate, with some directing questions to various ministries and seeking oral responses on development-related activities. Speaking after the adjournment, Japi Muhango described the week as productive, noting that members from both the government and opposition sides actively and meaningfully contributed to discussions on the national budget.
This has been a good week in terms of a debate, particularly on the budget that was presented by the Minister of Finance on 27th of last month. The debate has gone on very, very well. Positive sentiments going towards government by both sides of the House. So all in all, I would say that the week has gone on very, very well. Very positive. There have not been any negativities. So both sides of the House have pretty much agreed with the budget itself. Hence, positive sentiments coming from both the opposition as well as the government side.
Before the adjournment, Member of Parliament for Balaga Ngwangwa constituency, John Jackson Bamusi, commended government for introducing free secondary education, saying the initiative has enabled many students in his area to access schooling.
The first point that I made in the Parliament was to thank government for the free education, especially the secondary school education. This is instrumental to improve education standards in my area, and it's being helpful to the needy people, especially boys and girls from the remote areas, from the rural areas of Sawali, Kwisa, Matola, Zamimba, Mangerenge, just to mention a few.
Meanwhile, legislator for Cholo Tegerani, Mavuto Sandram Scott, called on the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development to consider allocating land to communities along the M1 road in Cholo district to support infrastructure development and improve the district's outlook, noting that much of the land is occupied by large-scale plantations.
I was trying to plead with the Minister of Lands and Urban Development to seriously take this thing that we should talk to the state owners to give us the land which is around each trading center so that people can start expanding their businesses, can develop those areas. We need to put modern structures for business.
The House has since adjourned to Tuesday, 24 March 2026 in the morning. Lonjezo Sodoga, NBC News, Parliament, Lilongwe.
This is NBC News. A reminder of our top stories. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady Madam Gertrude Mutharika join all Malawians in conveying warmest wishes to Muslims across the nation on the auspicious occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Leader of the House describes this week's parliamentary deliberations as substantive and impactful to the country's development. And in our special report this week, we look into the use of artificial intelligence, AI, in medical services in hospitals across the country.
Uno ndi Kumalawi, dziko lodzaza ndi kuthekera makakwa iwo ogwira ntchito molimbika. Iwo ochita malonda ali nazo zifukwa zonse zopitisira patsogolo ntchito zawo, monga kukhala ndi yawo post office box. Ndi Malawi Post Corporation sizikutenganso mtunda wautali kuti mubwezeretse kapena kutsekula post office box ndi kuyamba kulandira makalata anu mosavuta. Kwa onse ochita malonda, makampani komanso mabungwe ndi zotheka kukhala ndi post office box yanu kapenanso private bag malingana ndi kukula kwa kampani yanu. Anzanu oona patali anatsekula kale yawo post office box ndipo mtima unachita zii pa nkhani ya chitetezo cha makalata awo chifukwa box yawo amatsekula okha basi. Mukatsekula post office box ndiyo khazikika, ndizothekanso kusamutsa box yanu kupita dera lina. Kuti mubwezeresenso kapena kukhala ndi post office box, pitani ku post office yomwe muli nayo pafupi. Malawi Post Corporation, worth your trust.
Welcome back. What runs through your mind when you go to the hospital and see doctors using artificial intelligence tools to assist in diagnosing your condition? Do you feel comfortable? Patients, doctors, and health experts have different views on the subject matter. Now, in our special report this week, our reporter Jackson Sijali probes the use of AI in offering medical services to patients in different hospitals across the country.
Kaunda Gondwe from Livingstonia in Rumbi district came to seek medical attention at Wezi Medical Center in Mzozo City. Upon arrival, Gondwe is welcomed by the health personnel at the facility and went through the whole medical treatment process. While some patients feel uneasy when doctors use AI tools in patient examinations, Gondwe holds a different view. He believes that doctors require sufficient information to properly assess patients.
And from modeling and simulation, you have got the other added advantage of the artificial intelligence. You are saying, how does he expand the possibilities?
Benita Jeke is another patient who shares Gondwe's perspective, emphasizing the need for a mindset change among patients who perceive AI negatively.
When they search for some information, like they need some knowledge about what we are suffering, what we are feeling.
Commenting on the subject matter, Wise Medical Center Director Dr. Douglas Lungu said AI has improved certain aspects of medical practice, particularly in speeding up access to results. However, he was quick to caution that despite its efficiency, AI should not replace traditional patient examination methods using approved medical tools. Dr. Lungu stressed that doctors must apply their full professional knowledge when treating patients and avoid relying solely on AI, as it may sometimes provide inaccurate information that could negatively affect treatment outcomes.
You have to know what information you're looking for. You have to know what it is saying or what is being suggested. And that requires you to have enough knowledge. You have to have enough, what I would call profound knowledge, to be able to say, yes, this is what it is, to say, no, this is not. So you can't just walk off the street and then say, I'm going to use AI and I'm going to make a diagnosis, maybe of malaria. It may not work.
Concurring with Dr. Lungu, Director General for Mzuzu Central Hospital, Dr. Doris Kayambo, noted that not all information found online is reliable. She added that doctors rely on credible sources and professional networks to consult with specialists outside the country, helping to bridge knowledge gaps in difficult cases.
So it's very important that when you're using technology, artificial intelligence, we use the appropriate sites. When you're using the appropriate sites, there is nothing wrong, it is not harmful. The only time when it becomes harmful, it is when it's used inappropriately, when you're using inappropriate sites, and this also goes out to the community, that if someone just goes on to artificial intelligence on Google and Google a condition, depending on which site you're going to go to, either you get the correct information or not.
Principal Secretary responsible for administration in the Ministry of Health, Beston Chisamile, said in some cases, doctors use AI as a tool to refresh their knowledge on specific medical information. He added that as technology advances, Malawi should align itself with modern technology as the country aspires to achieve the Malawi 2063.
You know, learning is a continuous process. You might have trained in various things and the like, and there are also researches that have been conducted elsewhere. So the issue of going or to check in these issues of artificial intelligence, I wouldn't say as a government that we should disregard. Someone is just trying to get extra information to manage the problem at hand.
Despite acknowledging the benefits of AI in healthcare, health expert and nurse educator Dr. Everine Chilemba strongly warned medical practitioners to prioritize direct patient examination before applying AI-generated information, stressing that human life is paramount.
We should be very careful on AI and health issues. When a patient is describing what is wrong with him, sometimes he might not be exactly how he's feeling. The doctor should actually physically, or if there's need to take blood and analyze that blood. Don't just depend on AI, because AI has been fed by people with some information which might be right on other people, but on others it will be very wrong.
Malawi is making progress toward achieving Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which focuses on good health and well-being. Additionally, Sustainable Development Goal number 9, which focuses on industry, innovation and infrastructure, is closely linked to Sustainable Development Goal number 3 through improved data management systems, and efforts are currently underway to strengthen health administrative data systems to support evidence-based decision-making. Jackson Sejali, MPC News, Mzuzu.
The Lilongwe Magistrates Court is expected to deliver a bail ruling and other applications for former Immigration Director General Charles Kalumo, retired, via email. Lawyer representing Kalumo, Crispin Dalama, says the decision was arrived at after the state left the court premises when they had waited from morning hours to mid-afternoon. He said when the presiding magistrate was ready to deliver the ruling, only the defense side was available, hence the decision. Kalumo is still under police custody while receiving medical treatment at Kamuzu Central Hospital in Lilongwe. He was arrested on Sunday, 15th March, on allegations of abuse of office.
We were scheduled to have a delivery of a ruling on bail and other applications that we made before the court at 9:30. The parties were here at 9:30, but unfortunately the court was only ready around the 1:30. And at that time, when the court was ready to deliver the ruling, the state had already left the court premises. So in these circumstances, the court has directed that it is going to share an electronic copy of the ruling. You would want to know that some of the applications that we made have an effect of ending the case there and therein. So we don't know what the court has decided, but once we see it, we will see the way forward.
Concerned citizens of Malawi under the banner People Power Movement have commended the positive strides made by the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament in the Marriott Hotel purchase saga. One of the leaders for the grouping, Caesar Kondowe, made the remarks during a press briefing held in Blantyre while cautioning other sections of society calling for the resignation of individuals connected to the matter. Kondowe told journalists that it is too early to make such decisions as investigations are still ongoing. He has since commended President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika for his assurance that the issue will be handled once and for all.
Message centered into two critical areas. Number one, we wanted to commend the President of the Republic of Malawi, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, for making a decisive decision through the recent communication that the latest saga of the purchase of Ameris Hotel, the President will not side anybody. He wants accountability. He wants Public Accounts Committee of Parliament to do the inquiry very transparent. And that is very commendable from the head of state. Secondly, we have seen that as a nation, we are making breakthrough through institutional government departments such as the Reserve Bank, Financial Intelligence Authority, and Corruption Bureau. They have made strides in freezing some of the funds from the seller as well as those individuals that were involved in this dubious sale of the hotel. And again, we're also very much worried as a concerned citizen that there are a lot of speculations about certain individuals that must be fired. We say, no, this is not the right time for government to make that decision because the investigation is in progress. Therefore, calling such is premature because what we want is, as the matter is under investigation, citizen rights should be also protected. Therefore, it will be premature for people to be just calling people to be fired because they are part and parcel of involvement. We say no because the issue is coming bearing in mind that the process of the purchase and selling of this hotel began with the past regime. Therefore, there's a lot of finger pointing. It's only credible investigation by this institution that will reveal the truth of the matter. And we believe that at the end of the day, those people that made mistake or violated any law should be punished.
And that item wraps up this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and the First Lady, Madam Gertrude Mutharika, join all Malawians in conveying warmest wishes to Muslims across the nation on the auspicious occasion of Eid al-Fitr. Leader of the House describes this week's parliamentary deliberations as substantive and impactful to the country's development. And in our special report this week, we look into the use of artificial intelligence, AI, in medical services in hospitals across the country. Well, for the latest news, follow our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Arthur Chokoto, and Savita Wirima, our sign language interpreter. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.
Some things don't arrive. They've always been. Not for a day, for all of time. Until quietly, something shifts. Moving from someday to now. Women are not honored in time. They are woven through it, shaping every story, every voice, every breath. We are because she is, and because tomorrow they will be.
Pomwe okonda masewero mdziko muno akupitirira kukhudza imfa ya mlembi wamkulu wakale wa bungwe la namwa Helen Mpinganjira Tasosa, MBC ikupatsirani programu yapadera. Awa ndi macheza omwe tinali nawo ndi Mai Helen sabata zitatu zapitazo pokonzekera kuyamba kwa programu yatsopano yotchedwa Pampani pano pa MBC. Iyi ndi nthawi yomwe tikufuna kukumbukira mawu awo, kudzipereka kwawo komanso ntchito yotamandika yomwe agwira pokweza masewero a mpira wamanja mdziko muno.
Kukupemphani kuti inu musasunthe pamenepo, tikhale limodzi chifukwa tikhale tikuyamba ulendowo owunika za nkhani yokhudzana ndi mayi Helen Mpinganjira Tasosa. Tikulandireni mpulogalamu ya lero ya Pambane mayi Tasosa.
Ziko kwambiri.
Kwambiri ambiri akhala akumva nkhani yokhudzana ndi mayi Helen